Hello everyone, a very good afternoon. I'm Adro from the Smart Nation and Digital Government Office. So a very good afternoon and thank you for joining us. So before we begin today's session, I would like to introduce a few admin details for you to take note of. So if you have any questions during the session, feel free to type them in the Q&A button, right? So that's actually at the bottom of your screen if you're using a desktop. So if you click on Q&A, you can proceed to type any questions that you may have during the session, and we may take them at the end of this webinar. Lastly, please do not go off after the end of the session. We'll need your help to fill up a simple survey for today's session. So today we have a talk by DAC Aileen as well as Raju. And with that, I'll hand over to Professor Keith from the FinTech Lab at NUS.
Hello, everyone, and good afternoon. Thank you so much, Adriel and Smart Nation Singapore. So great to be able to come together and bring some really exciting people that are going to speak to you today about avoiding scams. Let's fight these scams and get into the cybersecurity and privacy event. So with me are the Deputy Assistant Commissioner, Aileen Yap. She's been protecting us through her work with the police force for 20 years so we can all sleep better at night. And she's also the Assistant Director of the Anti-Scam Division, a branch of the Commercial Affairs Division Department. Although the Anti-Scam Center was only set up in 2019, it's already recovered more than $127 million. That's amazing. And I mean, on one hand, that's a really remarkable number. On the other hand, it's a bit scary. Wow, that much has been sent out in scams and more. We're also joined by Raju Chellam. He is a dear friend and a fellow at the Advanced Computing for Executives, National University of Singapore School of Computing, where he's helping students and mid-career switchers learn more about the technical skills that can be applied in fintech and more. And he wears many hats. He's been in the IT industry for 37 years and he is the chief editor at the AI Ethics and Governance Body of Knowledge, which is an initiative by the Singapore Computer Society and the Infocom Media Development Authority. He's also the honorable chairman of the Cloud and Data Standards Committee under the ITSC, amongst many other things that he does. So we've got two great speakers here today for you. This is put together with Smart Nation and also the NUS FinTech Lab as part of an effort that we have to support the Singapore Civil Defense, where we're trying to work on social and psychological work, where we bring about financial literacy, opportunities to see new careers, the demystifying fintech. And here, with all that, we want to make sure we're protected from scams too. So fintech has a great side, but it also has a risky side. And so if you want to hear more, learn more, there's a QR code here where you can join us in the Friends of Fintech, and which is an initiative to bring together and connect the community across all of the various aspects of fintech to keep us safe. So Aileen, I'm looking forward to hearing from you. Please go ahead and get ready to share your screen. And just it's an exciting time, but at the same time, scary. We need to work together to fight scams as a community. Thanks for joining us today, everyone. I hope that what you hear today, you'll go ahead and share with your friends and family as well. Aileen, over to you.
Okay, can I just do a check? Can all of you see my screen? I need some noise because I can't see anything. Yes, no?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay.
And as Aileen is sharing, she's going to take you through crime statistics, identifying scams, and very good anti-scam strategies. And by the end, you're also going to be able to see some of the key resources that you can get access to in order to prevent it, and also make sure that you can actually share these with your friends and family. These are the things that we want to go viral, right? To protect everybody. Aileen, back to you.
Okay, so you can see my screen already?
Yes.
Okay, excellent. Oh, okay. So hi everyone. My name is Aileen. I'm from the Singapore Police Force Anti-Scam Division. Well, this afternoon, I'll be sharing with you scams and what you need to know. So I'll be sharing with you, here are my agenda. What are the general crime statistics that was reported in 2020? What are the different kinds of scams that are currently around? In fact, we have 30 over scam types in Singapore. Then the third one would be, I'll be sharing with you on the anti-scam strategies. Now, in Singapore Police Force, we believe that fighting scams is a community effort. So in the past, people always say, "Ayo, the scams are on the rise. How come police, you all never do that? How come police will never do that?" But honestly speaking, police alone cannot fight scam. We need the whole community to come together. It's not just police. We need the banks, the fintechs, the online marketplaces, the telecommunication companies, as well as people like you and me. Now, I'll go very quickly into the overall crime stats last year. I will speak a bit faster because we're given quite limited time. All right, so overall crime as of 2020 has increased by 6.5%. And if you minus away all the scams in Singapore, right, actually overall crime has reduced by 15.3%. So what does this tell us? This tells us that Singapore street is actually very, very safe. But if you stay at home, it is actually not safe, you know, because you will surf the internet, you will tend to use phones, right? So when the scammers engage you, you will tend to pick up the phone calls or engage them via SMSs. So if you stay in Singapore, we always say that actually, if you stay at home, sometimes it's not that safe anymore. And this is really due to scams. Scams increased by 65.1% from 2019, which is more than 9,005 cases to 15,700, more than 15,700 cases in 2020. Now, here you see the 4 top scam types in Singapore: the e-commerce scam, social media, impersonation scam, loan scams, and bank-related phishing scams. Well, that was last year. This year is different already. Now, a very quick overview of the top 10 scam types in Singapore and the amount of losses that the victims suffered. So from this list, very quickly, you see that amongst all these scams, right, actually investment scams are the one that suck out the most money from a lot of our Singaporeans. We'll go into the reason why later on. Now, very quickly, what is e-commerce scams? Don't worry, I will not do a test on all of you later on. This is just for general knowledge. E-commerce scams generally refers to the non-delivery of goods and services upon payment. People like you and me, partly because of COVID, a lot of people are working from home. A lot of people are buying computers, as well as, you know, entertainment stuff like, you know, Nintendo Switch. So the problem with e-commerce scams is that sometimes, most of the time, the scammers will ask you to take off to a private chat via WhatsApp, which is very, very common, and ask you, instead of trading online using escrow account, they ask you to pay via a private bank transfer with additional discounts. They will entice you with some discounts. So we have got this particular case, which we always share. So there was this particular guy who wanted to buy a Huawei phone, and this Huawei phone probably cost about $750 off the shelf. But apparently, right, the scammer advertised that it was like $700. And then he decided to buy the phone, but the scammer was so sophisticated. He tell him that, oh, you have to pay upfront deposit, you have to pay custom fee, you have to pay shipping fee, and all kinds of fee. And to our horror and shock, the victim actually paid $2,000, and yet he haven't received his Huawei phone. And on top of this, right, this particular victim, I don't know how it happens, but he actually paid another $2,000 to help the scammer buy Bitcoins. So in total, he paid $4,000 and he received nothing. Right, so this is something that we really hope everyone can be very careful. If you are trading or using e-commerce services, right, really at the end of the day, please try to use escrow account. Escrow account are actually those that you trade on the platform. If you never confirm that you have received the goods in order, the platform will not release the money to the supplier or the seller. Now, the next kind of scam is called the social media impersonation scam. So there are 2 types. Usually it's Facebook impersonation or WhatsApp takeover. So there are 2 victims here. One group of victims is the ones who account are being spoofed. The other group of victims are their family members, loved ones, or friends. So what happened is usually the scammers will use spoof account to contact their families and friends and then tell them that, hey, they have won a lucky draw, or hey, give me your particulars, I'll help you participate in some promotion or contest, right? So, well, the issue here is most people will generally give, especially the husbands. They will usually, if their wife, they receive a message from their wife's handphone, right? Most of the time, I think more than 90% of the time, they will give. So that is the problem. When you give away, then the scammers will make use of all these credentials to create account or to make unauthorized transaction. Well, that's where you lose a lot of money. Now, the next kind of scam is what we call the loan scam. Well, on the right, left-hand side, you probably see a message. If your phone never received this kind of messages, then I would say, wow, that must be a really lucky number. I think all of us receive such messages every day. Well, there are, generally speaking, licensed money lenders are not allowed to advertise via SMSs or WhatsApp. They are not supposed to advertise in this way. Generally, in this kind of scams, the victims will usually respond to such messages, especially when they are in need of money. And during COVID, quite a number of them fell prey. Now we've got this particular case whereby this lawyer wanted to buy a property of $8 million and he just wanted to borrow $3 million. So he was very good, he went into the MinLaw website, which has listed all the licensed money lenders. Then he narrowed down to this particular licensed money lender, so and so. But interestingly, this money lender does not have an official website. And I guess the scammers know about this and they created a website. So what happened was this particular lawyer was told that during this is the COVID period, so now licensed money lender, there's a special rule. They don't need to meet the debtor, right, or the person who wanted to take the loan. So what happened was this lawyer ended up paying $521,000, but yet he haven't even received a single cent from the so-called purported licensed money lenders. So how did the lawyer get scammed? Well, it is through, all this kind of admin fee, service charge. For that particular case, actually the anti-scam center, we managed to freeze a number of bank accounts and recover $420,000 for him. That is actually quite remarkable. Just imagine, usually we tell our victim that once your money gets scammed, it is as good as you will never get it back, especially when the money goes overseas. So yeah, what we advocate is that people have to report cases fast. Now, the next kind of scam is actually a bank phishing scam. So this is very rampant, very common during the COVID period last year, where it hit a number of our foreign workers at the dormitory. So they were told to go online because they cannot go around to the remittance companies to remit money, right? So they went online. And then I think the scammer also leverage on this. Well, they are very advanced, right? So a number of our foreign workers actually received messages like informing them that there are suspicious transactions in their bank account. They have to give their personal particulars, or their ATM card is faulty. So you see on the right-hand side, that is a common, the current latest, that is a payment has been attempted. And then if you never make such a payment, please click on the link. Once you click on the link, that's the end. You might have to give all your particulars, and then when the scammers got your particulars, they will do all sorts of things like unauthorized access to your bank details, and then will siphon out all your money. Now, the next kind of scam is investment scams, right? Investment scams, there are two kinds. One is the victim will approach the investment agents themselves, or the other kind is these people get approached. Usually, the victims are approached in a dating website. There are many dating websites. That is the something common that we see. So what happened is, actually earlier January this year, our anti-scam center conducted an operation. It's called Ops Awakenings. So what we did was we look through the bank accounts, bank statements of all those people, all those victims who make police report. And thereafter, right, we try to call up all these victims to check with them, why are they putting money in this so-called investment scam tinted bank accounts. When we were calling, there was this particular uncle. He was quite interesting. He said that, hey, sorry, I have no time to talk to you all because I'm baking cookies. So we said, no, uncle, you must listen to us. This is very, very urgent. So upon further conversation, we found out that actually this uncle got to know somebody on a dating website. And he was enticed to participate in some investment app, right? To join some investment app, and then he was thinking, now COVID period, right? So I never earn much, so maybe I can use this to earn money. So he put in a small sum, like say $5,000, and very fast he get $1,000 in return. So it's based on the app. So you think that, hey, this could be easy money. So he decided to put 50,000 into the bank account, into the app, and then thereafter he never heard anything. Overnight, right? Instead of earning money, suddenly all the $50,000 was gone, and on top of it, right? He actually, end up having more losses. So he was thinking, now jialat already. I have to, find money to return to top up this investment. So he was thinking, okay, maybe I bake cookies so that, or I borrow from family members. So he was very, very relieved when he received the particular phone call from us, that he told us that finally he don't need to pay all this money. Finally, his worry is gone, though he actually lost 50,000. So for investment scam, actually you look on the right-hand side, there is actually an app. The scammers are really very sophisticated. They create this kind of apps, right, just to con you. So once you transfer money or you want to take out money, usually all your money will be gone. They will suddenly, your investment could be making money, but once you want to take out money, everything will be just go down all the way to minus. All right. So this is actually investment scam. A lot of Singaporeans have fallen prey. Now, the next kind of scam is called credit for sex scam. So for the female who are here, you can take a break because 100% of such scam type happens to guys. So either the guys befriend the scammers online looking for sexual services, or they get hooked up by the scammers. Then they will be instructed to make payment via, in the past it was Alipay Credit, iTunes and Google Pay cards. But now, Google and Alipay has actually decided to exit the market because of our repeated engagement. So if you ask for a certain service and they ask you to pay via iTunes, now is my card, then most likely you are a potential victim, right? The next kind of scam is actually love scam. Love scam is actually the saddest because you not only get cheated of the money, you also cheated of the feeling, get cheated of feeling and you're loved. In the past, it was like, the scammers will take about 1 year to cultivate a victim, but then nowadays it is very fast. It can be, within 1 week. So what happened is that victims will usually be befriended by retired army chief, lawyer, doctor, or pilot. Usually these are the standard kind. So we have got this particular case at the anti-scam center. What happened was that one day, one of the banks called us and then told us that, hey, there was this victim wanted to transfer money at the counter, but they believed that this is scam, and they told her that this is scam, but she refused to believe. So they engaged us, the anti-scam center officers, my duty officer, we engaged her. She refused to really believe us. So what we did was we asked for a photo of the scammer. Usually what we did is we get a photo of the scammer, and after that we run through some of our software, and then we check whether who is the real identity. Sometimes it's some Korean celebrity or Indonesia artist or some Americans who are influencer, So some of these photos that we've gotten. So we managed to get a photo. Then later on in the evening, we received another phone call from the bank who said that this particular victim, they suspected that this person could be another victim. And my officers managed to convince her to give a photo again. So this first victim, what happened was she told us that, no, impossible, I won't be scammed, and because this particular person, I'm going to get married in 1 week's time. Just imagine, she has never met this guy before. My officer asked her, then she said she never met this guy before, but they're going to get married. So then when my officer compared the two photos, this one is a girlfriend, just girlfriend only. This one is a fiance already. So he was shocked, that the two photos were the same. So he was thinking, ayo, this one is love triangle or what? One guy and two female. That is when we re-engage the two victims and they finally believe us. So there are some of this interesting phenomena that we encounter. Very sad because they will not only lose money, they lose love. Now, another kind is non-bank phishing scam. Well, non-bank phishing scam is when all of us are very common. We receive a message from maybe perhaps DHL. well, it's very common because all of us purchase things online, right? At any point of time, you will suspect that it is DHL related. So they will say that your parcel has got some problem. You just need to pay, key in your credit card detail, and maybe $1 or $2 will be deducted from your credit card. That is just a test transaction, and thereafter bigger money will be gone. There are also a very common one is the Netflix non-phishing scam. They say that well, your payment system has got into some problem, and then you are supposed to update your payment. Most of us at home nowadays has got Netflix, right? The scammers just need to blast out the message, and then very, very quickly, I think maybe at least 10% of the people will just go and click and update their payment details and information. And we have also got another type that is the Pizza Hut, pizza $1. So when you buy that pizza for $1, what happened is your credit card detail will be stolen, and then thereafter you see more and more money gone. So your pizza will not cost $1. Not only will you not get the pizza, you lost a lot of money. Now, the next kind of scam is the tech support scam. Before I joined the anti-scam division, I always thought, well, this must be some sophisticated technology or software that the scammer came out. But no, it's actually not true. In this kind of scams, right, the victim will receive calls from purported Microsoft or some tech company, or they will see pop up on their computer asking them to call maybe certain tech company hotline, or they may receive a call from Singtel telling them that, oh, their router got problem. I can see the bling, bling, bling thing. So what happened is, if the victim were to believe in them, the scammer will ask them to download this team viewer software. So team viewer software is created to facilitate the tech companies. Instead of sending their staff to your house when your computer has got problem, right? They ask you to download this software so that they can remotely see what your computer is going on, and then can guide you on what are the things to click so that maybe your computer gets better, just help you to recover some issues. So these are legitimate software, but the scammers are so sophisticated that they have leverage on this kind of software to get you to download. And when you download it, that is when they will spot check. They will check on what are the user ID that you key in, what are the password that you key in. So we have got this particular case where this professor went to the bank and wanted to send money, 180,000. And over at the counter, the bank staff told him that this one most likely is scam right? So much money. Then from there, he doesn't believe. So he got angry with the bank staff, the bank staff who has got a very close relationship with our anti-scam center, called our anti-scam center, and we decided to engage him over the phone. He was very unfriendly. So maybe shouldn't say unfriendly not forthcoming so we sent our community policing officer, those neighborhood police officer to his house. So initially he refused to open the door and refused to allow our officers to engage him. But what happened was our officers were very persistent, and they were very persuasive. They finally managed to convince him to open the door. And when they entered the house, they saw that his computer was actually running, and there was TeamViewer software behind. They quickly took out the plug, and that is when they managed to stop everything. So just imagine our officers didn't go and engage him at the right time. And for this particular professor, how was he conned? Was that he was told that he's involved in a secret project. So he cannot tell anybody. So what happened is, if somebody were to call you and tell you that you are involved in a secret project, even though you are really involved in a high-level government secret project, please, if you are involved, the government will not ask you to transfer money to a particular bank account or overseas one, okay? We will never, all right? If you're unsure, you check with me. Now, this other kind of scam is called the China official impersonation scam. So we also have another variant called the government official impersonation scam. China official generally claim that they're from China. Then a government official will claim that they're from CID, MOM, IRAS, right, custom, state courts, all right. So all these are about the same type of MO, modus operandi. The caller will then tell you that your identity has been misused in some drug cases in China, or your credit card details is being found in some COVID related product, that kind of thing. And they will make you very, very worried and make you very fearful. And that is where they ask you to transfer money to an overseas bank account, or they will send people to your house to take money from you. So we have another group of victims who really they are also victims, but these victims are the ones working as Interpol for the scammers. It's very interesting. This group of people have never undergo any law enforcement training, has never undergo any Interpol training, but yet they they can be Interpol officer. They are actually victims who are also deceived into the same kind of scams, where usually they were told that, okay, now you are involved in some money laundering cases. In order to get yourself out, in order to prove you're innocent, you have to work for the Interpol, which is the China official. And there they will share, they will bring along this kind of documents that you see on the right side with your name on it to tell you that you are involved, you're really involved. There's a warrant of arrest that is against you. So then the phone call sometimes will be passed to a supervisor. Then at the background, right, the first officer who called you, right, will be like pleading on your behalf to ask the supervisor to let you go with a bail. So that is where a lot of our victims actually transfer $700,000 or take out $800,000. Really, Singaporeans are really very rich. You might be surprised. We have got this old lady who transferred, who took out 3.64 million. Despite our many engagements, she just don't believe us. So that is when we conducted an operation. It was quite it was highlighted in the mothership. Yeah. Now, so that is actually the top 10 kind of scams, but I throw in some other common scam types so that I can create some awareness in all of you. Another kind of scams is called the business email impersonation scam. So in this kind of scams, the scammers will hack into the victim's business email account. So not to worry, because you and I, we all are individual. So maybe it might not be so worthwhile for the scammers, right, to hack into our account. But usually it's the big company's account. Or then thereafter, right, the scammers will pretend to be the victims' business partners, suppliers, supervisor, and ask them to transfer money to a new bank account. So here I want to advise, if you are being told to transfer money to a new bank account, please call the person and then to verify first before you transfer the money. Scammers usually, they use very closely mimic email. Like for instance, an L can become a 1, or the I can become an L, or the shipping that I, then maybe the I is missing. So these are some examples that the scammers are using really just to scam you, right? So really, the way to get around is either you install a very good software, firewalls, or if not, whenever somebody asks you to transfer money to a bank account, a new bank account, just call that person, right? That phone call could save you a lot of money. The next kind of scam is currently happening in Singapore. It is very common. I think all of you have received, I suspect all of you have received Lazada, Shopee, Amazon, Zalora. They will tell you that, yeah, you're interested to do some part-time job and earn so much money, $500. You can click on this link, then you will join a whole list of WhatsApp people. And then some of these people, right, are actually their own people. They just create a lot of names, a lot of phone numbers, right? They just put their own phone numbers just to make it appear that, wow, this is a real job offer, For this kind of scam, what happened is that the victim, right, will be told to buy a merchandise. And the reason is to help the supplier boost their sales, so that they appear that, wow, a lot of people are buying, so a lot of people will believe that their product is very good and more people will buy. So this is the first step. Then the victim will buy, and immediately, right, the victim will get maybe another $10 commission in the bank account. So they get $100 plus that $10 commission. So you'll be thinking, wow, this is quite easy money. So I just need to fork out $100, I get $10. I fork out $200, then I get another $20, right? So once you say you want to join the job, they'll ask you to do 60 orders. Halfway, maybe 20 orders, you say you got no money already. They say, no, you're supposed to go and find more money, and then to hit the 60 orders, so that all the money will be downloaded to you. So by then, it's too late already. Most of the victims, or all the victims, did not get their money back. So on the right side, you can also see some apps. The scammers are very sophisticated. They created apps, this kind of apps, just to make you believe in them. So that is with the Hong Kong police force. Actually, in June, we actually busted 4 job scam syndicates, 3 with Royal Malaysia Police, 1 with the Hong Kong police force. But very unfortunately, there are still this kind of job scams around. I feel that there's such easy money that the scammers are not going to give up so easily. Now, the next kind is not really a scam, but I just want to warn people that if you see a lot of online advertisements, right, telling you that you can work from home and then you earn high amount of money, all these are bluff, all these are scams. So what happened is they will tell you to give away your bank account or help to do bank transfer, because their company is based overseas, right? So they don't have a local bank account. They just need to do such simple task of getting you to transfer money from one place to another. Interestingly, under the Payment Services Act, which came into effect actually in 2020 January, under Section 5, if you receive money from somebody and you transfer money out and you don't have a license, you are technically liable of an offense under the Payment Services Act. That license actually must come from Monetary Authority of Singapore. So here we want to warn the parents, please be very careful if your children say they have found a job. And to the youngsters, like you and me, okay, so and me, you must be really very careful if you want to take up this kind of job, because 90%, I think more than 90% of the time is fake, right? You won't get your commission or your salary at all. Now, at Anti-Scam Center, now I'll go into very quickly into the anti-scam strategies. Here, in anti-scam centers, which was established on the 18th of June 2019, we actually fight scams using the 6 I's. So, because why I? Because we believe that everything starts from ourselves, right? So Aileen will now brief you what is the 6 I's. They stand for information processing, that talks about proper sense making, intervention, that is strategies to disrupt the scammer's operation, investigation and intelligence, that means arresting people and bringing people in for investigation. Because we believe that at the end of the day, the best way to combat a crime is really through enforcement. And there are also initiative and innovation where we engage stakeholders as well as establishing good relationships with them to further our strategies. Inculcation is like what I'm doing today. Actually, I'm not someone who gives talks, but because I feel that through my years of experience in fighting crimes and fighting scams, I thought maybe it would be useful to do some sharing. At least you get some real life example. And finally, the 6 I's is actually international cooperation, how we work with other countries to better fight scams, especially for those transnational syndicate kind of scams. Now, very quickly, we don't have much time, so go into what are the intervention that we Singapore Police Force Anti-Scam Center does. So what happened is we believe that the scammers usually thrive on 3 main things. Number 1, that is the bank accounts that usually belongs to the money mules. They totally don't know what's going on because their money, their bank accounts has been misused. 2, phone cards, prepaid phone cards or SIM cards, whereby the foreigners or usually have not even come to Singapore, or their particulars has been misused to register all these phone cards. Sometimes they also don't know. Maybe they went to the shop to register, just buy one prepaid card, but the errant handphone shop, they will go and register their names for another 2 prepaid SIM card. There are quite a number of errant handphone shop dealers around. Then the third kind is actually online monikers that change regularly and every day. So it's very easy. So at the Anti-Scam Center, what we did was we proactively terminate the phone lines that is related to scams. We have terminated more than 1,300 phone lines, removed more than 2,900 suspicious online monikers and advertisement, and we have frozen 61.3 million. That is between June 2019 to end 2020. As what was mentioned by Prof. Keith earlier, we have actually, as of to date, 30th June, first half of this year, in total, we have actually recovered more than 127 million. In the past, right, we did a check, it was between 3% to 8% recovery. That means to say, if you are scammed $100, you only get $3 or up to $8 back. So in the current instances, at least it's more than 30% now. If we don't set up the Anti-Scam Center, we probably might have a problem recovering so much money, because really in the past, as an investigator, we really don't recover much. Now, we also conduct a bi-weekly operation. Every bi-weekly, we bring in a lot of scammers, we bring in a lot of bank account holders, or we call them money mules. You can look at that. We have actually conducted 45 operations so far. It's very interesting because after bringing in so many people, there are still so many of these people who are, who fell prey and then give their bank accounts for other people to use. So it is very interesting. But here at Anti-Scam Center, we always, we really think that the scammers a lot of them are actually based overseas. That is based on our investigation. But since we cannot eradicate scams totally, right? So we must constantly improvise and implement policies, do enforcement just to disrupt their operations so that we increase their operating costs. They have to constantly recruit new people. So that is what we do. So every now and then, especially sometimes on weekend, you see some of these police bring in 200 people, 300 people. Yeah, that is issued by our Anti-Scam Center. And finally, at our anti-scam center, we also have a project that is quite well known. It's called Project Frontier, which stands for Funds, Recovery, Operations and Networks Team, Inspiring Effective Resolution. So generally what we did was we gather all the stakeholders together, even if they have not, scam money has not gone into their bank account that they oversee, right? We will make friends with them so that just in case we have a case, we can straight away call them. Actually, most of them are just a phone calls away. So here under this project, we establish strong networks and partnerships, and we also strengthen our intervention processes. So sometimes the money come to a particular bank account. It's not just one particular bank account. Okay, that's it, you freeze. No, the money get dissipated to maybe another 3 bank account. And then from this 3 bank account, it get dissipated to another maybe 7 or 8 bank accounts. So we have got this particular case whereby the China official scam case whereby the victim put money into one particular bank account and it got dissipated to 89 bank accounts. You can imagine there are 89 people that we need to call up. So we always want to strengthen our intervention process, and we want to enhance our intelligence building as well as develop information sharing mechanism with the banks, fintechs. So far at the Anti-Scam Center, we have more than 30 stakeholders. Now, finally, I just want to say that we are here, Singapore Police Force is here to safeguard your everyday. And we believe that fighting scams is a community effort. So if you have any doubts or any queries, you can call our anti-scam hotline, 1-800-722-6688. So with that, thank you. Over to you.
Thank you so much, Aileen. Wonderful presentation. Wow. And it's really heartening to be able to see how many phone lines have gotten disconnected. Those are, it's going to be a few less SMSs and WhatsApp messages, right? So really appreciate that, Aileen, for all the hard work, right? Raju, yeah, fantastic.
And thanks to my group of very enthusiastic and committed officers. So credit goes to them and not really me.
Oh, wonderful as well. Well, great to have your team at work. Raju, you heard Eileen's presentation, lots of great insights here. And as you're heading up some of the cybersecurity best practices and more, first, what was your first impression of Eileen's key points and things that she's raised here?
Well, the first key point was, and the only key point for me was, as I come from a hacking community, that Singaporeans last year lost a total of $201 million. That's $201 million. So what does that message convey to an international hacker? Number one, Singaporeans have a lot of money. Number two, Singaporeans are very naive when it comes to parting with their money. They will believe people and they will get into scams. So if I'm a scammer and I look at these numbers, I say, where do I hit next? Singapore.
To that point, Raju, can you give a little bit of background about your work at the cybersecurity, just an introduction on that, and then your perspective, what can we do to protect ourselves in the first instance?
So I am honorary chair of the Cloud and Data Standards at the IT Standards Committee, which is part of the government of Singapore. And our basic job is to ensure two things. Number one, that your cloud is always available. And number two, that your cloud service provider keeps your cloud secure. But that's only part of the problem, because the other part of the problem is on you. Because if the cloud security provider keeps his cloud secure, and remember, all of us are on the cloud right now. All of us use WhatsApp, LinkedIn, Facebook, Twitter, everything is on the cloud, right? So part of the onus lies on the cloud security provider to keep everyone secure, but the large part deals with you. And for that, I will say there are 5 key sites that you should try to avoid. And those are A, B, C, D, E. A is for adult content. If you or your children or your relatives are going to adult content sites, those 99.9% of those contain malware. And you can download adult content and you will automatically get malware downloaded into your computer. B is for beauty sites. many teenagers, many young people, even middle-aged people, even men, women, children go to beauty sites to get beauty tips, to get beauty products, to get uh, beauty content. And then you click on one of these and there is a malware associated with it. You are going to get into deep trouble already. C is for celebrities. Most people like gossip. So there's a lot of sites offering celebrity gossip, a lot of sites offering cheap downloads of the latest movies, and 100% you will get cheap downloads of the latest malware the moment you download one of those movies. And D is for drug sites. You go for prescription drugs or what we call as athletic performance drugs, right? Because your local pharmacy may not sell it to you without a prescription. So you go online, you think it's a safe bet to buy it from somewhere outside. And definitely, not only are you going to get a drug that is probably counterfeit, but you're also going to get malware and your credit card number is at risk. And finally, E is for e-coupons. As Aileen just shared, if a pizza e-coupon is available for you for download for $1, you're going to get a pizza for $100 or maybe $1,000 because you're giving away your credit card information. So that's ABCDE. And sorry for a long answer, Prof. Keith, back to you.
Thank you. So the key point here, some of the A, B, C, D, E's to avoid. I hope you got a chance to write some of those down. We'll also put them into the chat for you, just to be careful. That brings us to a good point. I'm going to come to some of your questions and just right after this one. But Aileen, you know, Raju has highlighted some websites that we shouldn't go to. And I'm sure there's some parents on the line here today as well. What should parents be aware of? How can they help with protect the community and their children?
Okay, honestly speaking, sometimes we really cannot control what our children visit, or what sites our children visits, because it is, you know, it's currently worldwide, it's so accessible, internet is so accessible, you can access it everywhere. You can monitor it very, very closely. But at the end of the day, if they are out to school, if they are still holding a handphone, they can access it if they want to. But at the police end, we really want to advocate parents to talk to your children more and really to get to understand them. This is easier said than done. But our problem with a lot of youngsters getting scammed is that when they get scammed, they continue to give more money to the scammers because they don't dare to tell their parents, and they give more money because of what we believe in sunk cost fallacy. That is, I have already invested so much, right? I've already put in so much money. I've already paid so much. It's just like the Huawei phone story, right? He put in so much. He just feel that, maybe there's a chance that I might get my money back. But he wouldn't talk to his parents or anybody because he will probably be very concerned that he might get scolded or things like that. So really, at the end of the day, something that we advocate is really for the parents to maybe talk more and understand your kids, check their bank account. If they want more money from you and keep wanting more money from you, then you really got to check their bank account, see where the money has gone to. If they suddenly are very hardworking and wanted to take up part-time job, is that something that you should also try to find out what kind of part-time job that they are doing? All right, make sure you know that company. Make sure it's not some online company or, you know, some dubious company that is overseas, right? So what we advocate here is really for the parents to talk more to their family members and, you know, their children. Yeah.
Thank you so much, Aileen. And really, children should be taught to come forth, right? If they are getting too deep, it could be dangerous and also expensive as well. Aileen, how can we encourage them a little bit to come forth early?
I think it has something to do with the society. If you come forward, honestly speaking, the police officer will not laugh at you. That's something, an assurance that we can give you. At the end of the day, you know, it's like if you keep everything to yourself and you keep disbursing money to the scammer or keep paying, it will be no end. You know, it is just like gambling. You just keep gambling and gambling, trying to hope with the hope that you get money in return. But to be very frank, if you come to us and you don't want your identity to be known, you want us to do a probe for you to find out whether that's a scam account, police officer, we can do it. All right, if you ask me whether this is a scam account, we receive this kind of questions almost every day. You know, I will tell you if it is likely to be a scam account or a scam website, but I will not tell you I will never tell you that this is not a scam website, because I honestly, even though I'm fighting scam every day, I'm unsure what are the legitimate kind of website that encounter, whether this is a spoof website. We really can't tell because of the sophistication of all the scammers. Actually, I saw some questions on the site. Actually, there are quite a number.
Yes, indeed. One of them is, what is your opinions on e-transactions, especially buying online? Is it safe to buy online using credit cards? Is there a chance of a scam? I'll go to Aileen first on that.
At one point of time, for myself, I wouldn't dare to spend more than $100 online, because the most I lose is $100, right? But recently I've started to buy laptops. But to be very frank with you, we have got this particular scam types. We call it the e-gadget series. I'll be very open to share it here. E-gadget series are mainly e-gadgets like laptops, handphones. All these are very expensive electronic products, right? We have got this particular scam types that has hit 1,000 over cases, but we have not solved it, because it is we have done quite a lot of tracing, and we realized that this scam type is based overseas. And more often than not, the scammer will tell you to trade offline, transfer to a particular bank account. Now, if you are buying online, what I can recommend you is to subscribe to an escrow escrow account. This escrow account generally means that if you don't confirm that you have received the good, the platform will not release the money to the supplier or the seller. So this is very, very safe. More often than not, you look at other people's ratings, right? But that is not safe because a lot of all these ratings are what we call brushing, whereby the seller engage other people to just go and click. Sometimes they are the buyer, they are also the seller. So we have got some errant seller that are like that. So what I recommend here is, if you are trading online or buying things online, please use escrow account. So quite a number of our online marketplaces has got escrow account already, because we have been engaging them. Don't trade on those dubious one. Sometimes you save that $10 or 10%, but you lose your 100%. Yeah.
So go to trusted websites, right? That's
yes,
going to be a key website. That's right. And Raju, can I go over to you just to connect the dot to the trusted website? I wanted to handle that first, and then we'll get into the PDPA and telcos and so forth. In terms of trusted websites, you have some key tips for staying online and secure?
Yes, I have, as usual, 4 tips, and there's our ABCD. A is always use two-factor authentication, which is probably the best way for you to keep a scammer away. 99.9% of all scammers cannot crack your second-factor authentication. Okay. Second, browse only. That's B for browse only when the site offers you HTTPS. So if there is no S after HTTP, S is for secure. Don't go to the site, and worst of all, never buy from the site. 3 is C is cognito browsing. Don't do cognito browsing. Go incognito, which means nobody knows and nobody tracks all your cookies. So how do you get incognito in Google Chrome? Control Shift N, N for new. Press all 3 together. Control Shift N. How do you get it on Edge? You go to the extreme corner and go to settings and just click on in private browsing, and that keeps all the cookies away. And finally, D is for don't save passwords. Don't save passwords on your browser on any place in your computer. So the only place I save my password is in a physical notebook using a physical pen and physical paper, which nobody can hack. And there are only 2 people in my household who know where that paper is stored, me and my wife. So be paranoid about security. Note that your virtual self is as important as your physical self. That's the only advice I can give you.
And it's really helpful to highlight the fact that your wife also has the password, so that in case you need someone to access things as well, it's important. There's quite a few questions about the telcos. Everyone has on their mind here about unsolicited calls coming in, what's being done. Are the people who get those whose lines are deleted, are they investigated? Raju, over to you on the cybersecurity
Yes.
side. Can you share a bit about this?
Okay, PDPC or PDPA has a DNC, do not call registry. All you have to do is go to the PDPA site, key in your number and key in the do not call. Click on do not call. So it legitimately blocks all of the advertisers who want to call you for marketing purposes. That's number one. Point number two, what if you get messages or calls from +65 numbers or plus any number that you are not aware of? The first thing you do is block the call. Don't take the call. Stop the call, block the call on your phone and report it as spam. The moment you block the call and report it as spam, it goes into a database of your telco and that is considered spam. And the telco has an analytics engine where it will take all of these spam calls and block those numbers in general. Plus, it may also give it to law enforcement. Number three, what happens when you repeatedly get calls from different numbers? You have to keep blocking them. There is no shortcut because scammers, as you know, will use different call numbers from different countries or from even Singapore. And those are called burner phones or burner numbers, which means they are burnt or they are not true or they are generated out of a software. So there's only the best thing for you to do is also educate, most importantly, educate 3 people in your household. Number 1, your elders, your parents. Number 2, your children. And number 3, your helper, your maid, your foreign domestic helper. Because remember, all of these calls, all of these spam messages, all of these WhatsApp messages are coming to your house through your Wi-Fi, through your router. Therefore, there is a high risk of somebody hacking into your router. So you have to educate all of your members in the family that their virtual self is as important as their physical self, and anybody is liable to be hacked. Therefore, the best way is to be paranoid. And like Aileen said, trust nobody, give information to nobody. Even if it is your best friend who sends you an email saying, hey, I am in this deep crisis, send me $10,000 or $1,000, don't trust it because your friend's computer or phone may have been hacked. So the best way you can do is call that friend on another line or send a message on SMS, not on WhatsApp, to check, hey, did you really make this call or not?
Right.
And the last thing you should do is probably keep this number in your mind, 1-800-722-6688. That's the scam alert anti-scam hotline. And this is my advice to all of you. Please give this number to your children, to your maid, to everybody, because you never know when you might get scammed. And if your children are scared to talk to you about it, they should be at liberty to call this number and talk to a police officer anonymously, as Aileen just mentioned. And these are very, very valid points. I conduct a bi-monthly course on cybersecurity for Singapore Press Holdings. The first slide I have is this hotline number. So I'm going to stop here.
Thank you. And the hotline is shared here on the screen, and you can also go to scamalert.sg, a great site to share with your friends and family. This is where people, if you're going to have something go viral, let it be this so they can see, here are the tips and tricks that scammers are trying to use to get to you and what you should be avoiding. So take a look at this, share this, and especially the number, as Raju mentioned, 1-800-722-6688. All right, Aileen.
Can I just interrupt one more point since we are on this slide? I would urge all of you to go to this site, scamalert.com.sg, or whatever the site is, and take an IQ quiz. There is an IQ quiz there which lays out scenarios to find out how scammable are you. And those are very short scenarios. Please, not only should you take the quiz, encourage your children and your parents to take the quiz, because then they realize how they can be scammed. So the more you're educated about all of these methods, the better prepared you can be. Thanks, Keith.
Thank you so much. And we had some questions again that are all +65 calls scams. You know, to the extent possible, you don't want to pick up any plus calls if they're not coming from someone you know. These days, it's more like someone that you know will contact you and say, hey, I'm going to call you. This is my number, by the way. And then from there, you have the conversation. Eileen, over to you. There's a few questions here.
Yes.
Are these
Yes,
numbers?
if you don't mind, can I just address them as quickly as I can?
Sure.
Okay, so there's this Jane asked about PDPA does not seem to help unsolicited SMS or calls. Earlier, Prof. Raju has already shared, but I also want to share with you this thing that is very interesting. Last time I used to be doing unlicensed money lending strike force. I was doing that investigation. A lot of people call and complain to us that how can I block these phone numbers already? I still receive so many phone numbers. Come on, actually, what I want to tell you is that scammers are not regulated by any government authorities, right? So even if you report to PDPA, right, honestly, it has got no use because they will still continue to send you SMSs, make phone calls to you, right? But this is really the scammers. They are not regulated by anybody. So what you need to do is still to continue to share this number. And here we want to share with you, there's this very good app called Scam Shield. Scam Shield is now available only on iPhone. Some of you asked when can it be available on Android phone. I have 3 phones, 2 are Android and 1 is iPhone. So I'm more than eager to see it available on Android. We are working very hard. It has something to do with the license issue. We're trying very hard to get it up, at least hopefully by end this year. Currently, I think the iPhone users is about 30%, but not all have downloaded. If you are very worried about your family members being scammed, please do download this Scam Shield on their iPhone for them. They don't need to do anything, all right? This Scam Shield will just automatically purge out phone calls that is +65, but it is based on certain AI algorithm. It will also purge out SMSs, scam related SMSs. It's not 100%, but at least it's 95% and above, right? So please, if you can download this, you don't need to do anything after that. It will automatically purge out all the scam related phone calls as well as SMSs. So that is an answer to Jean, sorry. How and where do the scammers get our phone numbers and email? Okay, a very quick answer to that is that sometimes there are data leak. We have got people who works in a bank, people who work in the telecommunication companies, right? Where we have arrested this group of people before. But it's not easy, it's not difficult to get your data because you sign up for all kinds of things. People like you and me, we sign up for all kinds of lucky draws sometimes, and that is how people get our information, right? It is not difficult, all right? There's another scam asking if vaccinated, and once pressed, your phone is blocked. Yeah, so there are all kinds of scams that are around. My advice to you is if you are not sure, please do not click on any link. So after I joined the anti-scam division, I have stopped clicking on all the links that my friends send me. I must make sure that other people has clicked it, and then the most I missed out is some lucky draw, some good offers, but that's all that I missed out. I won't lose a lot of money. For SMS scam, can telco do something? So not quite for me to answer, but definitely they are working very closely with us because we have terminated a lot of phone numbers. It is not so easy to terminate scam numbers because a lot of them are spoofed. That means to say, right, they can use technology to mask their phone. Or for instance, the phone number appear that it is your father who called you or your mother who called you, but actually it's the scammer. All right, so for termination of phone lines, it's actually sometimes not that easy. Let me see, some scammers target old folks at online marketplace, Shopee, safe to use. Actually, I would say that all these platforms can be safe if you use escrow account. Escrow account is actually online. Lazada has, I think Shopee has, Carousel also have. You just have to sign up from their website. It is from their website, not my website. Every platform you can find the escrow account sign up from their website. Some are automatic. Once you use or buy product online, it is automatically escrow. This person, Raja, say I received +65 calls. However, they are genuine. How does one protect oneself anyways? Yeah, actually it's very difficult because I understand that the banks also employ overseas call center, and then the delivery, one particular delivery actually use overseas phone number. So my parcel always never come to my house. So I lodge a query and they say, yeah, we called you, but it's +65, you know. But yeah, I swipe it off lah. So it's my own fault. In the end, I use email to contact them lah. It is difficult because of the scammers' way of doing things. Sometimes it's difficult to block 100%. But I would say more than 90% of the +65 phone calls are from the scammers. I would safely say that. Let me see, any more questions that I missed out? What happens if you return a +65 phone call and realize that those are scam? If you return a +65 phone call and realize that it is scam, then you quickly hang up. All right. So no government official will ask you to transfer money to their bank account. If you are not sure, then you call the scam hotline, anti-scam hotline, or call the police lah. Let me see. Yeah, I've more or less. Did I miss out any? How to unsave password on computer? Prof. Raju, Raja, or Raju, sorry.
What's the
That's
question?
a technical question.
How to?
Unsafe password on computer or mobile.
How to unsafe? I don't understand.
Yeah.
So let me just give you some points of view from my side, since Aileen has already said that. According to me, 99.99% of all +65 or plus whatever number are scams. So why? Because if you have ordered a parcel from Lazada or Shopee or even Taobao from China, for instance, the best way they will get back in touch with you is on the app, not on the phone. So when you order from, let's say, Taobao, which is not even in Singapore, and you can order it from Easy Buy or Shopee, for instance, if the seller has to send you some information, he will normally send you a message on that app that you can check on your computer or your phone. There is no physical reason for the seller to call you on your phone. The delivery guy may call you to check on time, and his number will always be 9 something or 8 something, no plus sign. The plus sign is a certain giveaway that you are about to be scammed. That's number one. Number two, how do you unsave your password? When you exit, let's say, Google Chrome, you go and press Control H for history, and then go to Advanced tab, and then click All Time and clear all cookies, all data. And next time when you go to Google, don't go to Google, go straight away to Control Shift N for new in incognito mode. Like I said before, never save any password on your computer, because if your computer is hacked, your password is gone, you are at risk. Save all your password in physical pen and paper. And that's your best insurance of not getting scammed online. I'm going to stop here.
Thanks, Raju. And also there's a question from a person here. I received +65 calls. They're genuine. How you protect yourselves anyway? And Joyce also asked a separate question. Now the scammers use name. And so if you use WhatsApp, there's a key feature that's there that prevents people from adding you to groups. Before I turned it on, I used to be added to this loan group and that group for, you know, whatever. And to block that, there's a nice setting underneath your account privacy groups. You go to account and then privacy and then groups, and then you'll be able to block by saying, you know, only my contacts can add me to a group. And even if there's a contact you're not so sure, you could say my contact except for this other person. And that'll just prevent people from adding you into those big groups. Well, we have gone through a lot. Thank you, Aileen, for answering all those questions in rapid fire. Raju for adding in as well. We've picked up some key points today, right? The ABCDEs of websites not to visit. Hope you got to hear those. And if it's too good to be true, then it's too good to be true, right? Don't go into there. Aileen, Raju, I want to wrap this up. I want to hear your 30-second wrap-up points. And just think about that for a moment while I'll give you just a couple minutes here, not even minutes, a minute or so. I just want to share a couple more slides of what's ahead. So as we mentioned, this is the scam alert slide. Please go ahead and scan that to bring this and make it viral. Safeguarding is a community effort. We've got to work together to make sure this happens, this is protected. This whole video will be shared online. So we hope you'll share this with friends and family. Talk, as Aileen mentioned, with your kids too. There's no shame and go ahead and, being caught in a scam or something. It's, okay, share, talk with an adult, talk with a professional, talk with the police, say, this is what happened, and then walk through it and then go ahead and discuss as well. We have more events like this coming up. So the young youth into C is going to be next week. Kids are going to learn all about finances and financial literacy, their careers and so forth. Pioneer CC also has a couple of great events going on, digital payments and digital identity. You can find out all about them, about the Friends of FinTech. And let me now just turn it over to Aileen first. How would you like to give a good summary here?
Okay, I'll just do a very simple and direct one. That is, never transfer money to anyone you have never met before. It is as simple as that, because it's applicable to almost all kinds of scams, right? Because once you transfer money, sometimes, that's the end of the world already, Yeah, so make sure you know who you're transferring money to. And yeah, that's the way to go forward from now on. Yep.
Thank you, Aileen. Raju.
I have 3 tips. 1, be paranoid. Nobody is your friend online, so be very, very paranoid, right? 2nd, do not share your life on social media. Keep away from sharing your social media, your life, to everybody. You can share only to your contacts in Facebook or Instagram or WhatsApp or LinkedIn, but not everybody. Remove that everybody part, and then you are at least keeping yourself safe. And finally, the 3rd point, your virtual self is more important than your physical self. If you get caught and slip down or get in an accident and break a bone, you can go to NUH and you can get cured in a couple of months, maybe maximum. Virtually, if somebody takes away your identity, your entire bank balance, your entire life, your relationships, everything is at risk. So take your virtual self more seriously than you would take your physical self. With that warning, I bid you goodbye.
Thank you so much. Raju and Aileen, it's been a real pleasure to be able to hear from and learn from both of you this afternoon, that's for sure. There's a post here on the Smart Nation Together. They have a survey there you can click on and share your thoughts about this session. And also keep on the lookout for the next Smart Nation sessions, which we'll be collaborating on together. And again, this has been brought to you by the Singapore Police Force. Thank you so much, Aileen, for spending some of your time and to help us as a community really get more protected by the Smart Nation as well. Initiative which is at the Prime Minister's office, and by us here at the National University of Singapore FinTech Lab at the School of Computing. Great to have you. Look forward to seeing you again. Keep in touch and stay safe online.